Wax on, wax off. Can you believe the Karate Kid turns 40 years old? What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So in case you didn't know, the Karate Kid movie actually turns 40 years old. That's right, 40 years old, 4 decades long. So really, I just wanted to, talk about the Karate Kid, reminisce a little bit, kind of say, what does the Karate Kid mean to me? Now, by no means am I as old as the Karate Kid movie, but I remember watching the Karate Kid movie from a very young age and just falling in love with this movie, and it still remains to this day one of my favorite movies of all time. Just the way they were able to craft this movie and tell this story with this movie, where it's a classic coming of age story about a teenager named Daniel LaRusso who moves to California and gets bullied by a vicious karate gang. He seeks the help from an unlikely person, Mr. Miyagi, who happens to be his apartment maintenance man, who is secretly a master of karate. With Mr. Miyagi's guidance, Daniel trains in karate not only to defend himself, but also to learn valuable life lessons about discipline and perseverance. The Karate Kid is a heartwarming story about friendship, courage, and overcoming obstacles. Now, to me, the Karate Kid is one of those movies that tells this story of like an underdog. To me, it's really one of the most ultimate underdog stories when it comes to movie and cinema history. And this movie just in general just means so much to me. Like I said before, I watched this movie when I was a young kid. My mom introduced me to this movie. This was one of her favorite movies from the 80s, and I remember watching this as a young kid and just falling in love with this movie, just falling in love with the characters like Daniel LaRusso, Mr. Miyagi, and falling in love with that whole character dynamic that they had between each other. And that's one of my favorite things about this movie, was the whole relationship, the whole dynamic that we get between the two characters of Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. It's heartwarming, just the way that Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel in to become this sort of mentor and in a way a father figure to him, and just train him in the arts of karate to be able to defend himself and teach him the ways of karate and be able to just have these valuable life lessons that he teaches them, and to be able to go on and persevere and win the karate tournament. This movie has great music. Like, who could forget the whenever the karate tournament starts and you get that song, "Your Best Around," and you can't help but sing to it and just get hyped for the karate tournament as it begins, and the song is playing throughout the whole tournament. And we get that final battle between Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso, and he finally wins the tournament with the crane kick technique. Iconic shot, iconic scene going on in there. Also too, when it comes to the score itself, especially when it comes to some of the training montages that we get in this movie, to where you get this this whole swooping score, as it just plays throughout the training montages and plays throughout some of the scenes that we got going on in the movie, and it just hits you. The score just hits you in this this movie whenever you're watching this movie, and it's such a beautiful score. I tend to listen to it sometimes, and it just gets me in that mood of remembering this movie and just thinking of some of those montages. But like I was saying, really one of the main things that I love about this movie was the whole dynamic between Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, to where he's acts as his mentor and sort of father figure to Daniel, and just have these two characters, how they are with each other, and they care for each other, the dynamic between these two. And just kind of funny too, watching whenever Daniel is training or starting off to train for karate, and Mr. Miyagi is giving him all these different chores, and Daniel doesn't know the true meaning of why he's giving them these chores. And it's just funny to kind of see that too, where Mr. Miyagi calls upon him and he shows him how these chores are affecting him, between training, muscle memory, and all those things. And Daniel soon comes to realize, after he notices that he sees the reason behind everything. So I really do absolutely love this movie. Ever since I was a young kid when I watched it for the first time till today, the way this movie just has turned 40 years old, it's amazing that this movie is still relevant today. It's just a zeitgeist in the pop culture, and it's still going on. And of course, you got Cobra Kai, the series that's on Netflix currently, that's going on, which acts as a sort of legacy, continuing the story. And that show is amazing. I like what they have done with that show, so far already, and the final season is going to start streaming pretty soon. So I'm excited for that. Cobra Kai has done a lot of great things with continuing on that legacy of the Karate Kid. I think they have done so well with that series, as continuing the story, continuing the legacy, being able to have those roots of the Karate Kid franchise and still tell a compelling and amazing story with the characters, with new characters that we get, and of course the returning characters that we get, and be able to continue that story, continue that legacy going on. So I love Cobra Kai. It's one of my favorite series that's been going on today. So they have done an amazing job with that series. But I also have a relatability to the Karate Kid in a way. Like it's definitely a relatable story in my opinion, a way that this story is an ultimate underdog story. But I also had a relatability when it came to high school. At least for me personally, a personal story that I'm going to tell real quick is just like Daniel LaRusso, he moved during his senior year of high school, which actually happened to me, where I had to move to a different town during my senior year of high school and go into a new school, sort of meet new people and be able to gain their respect, just like the same way Daniel did. Now, on the other hand, I wasn't bullied or anything like that, which is a good thing. But, you know, you still have, whenever you go to a new town or go to a new school or whatever, you still gotta, you know, meet the new people that are there, gain their respect, gain their trust and things like that. So very similar to what Daniel had to do, basically, and, you know, had to adapt and be able to learn the new things of a new town and a new school. And that's something that I had to do during the same time that Daniel had to do during the movie. And when it came to like, you know, you get Letterman jackets and all that during high school, and I was able to get a Letterman jacket during my senior year of high school. And I really did want to put a quote from the Karate Kid. And what I was thinking was, you know, one of my favorite scenes, one of my favorite things in the Karate Kid was how Mr. Miyagi does a scene where he is telling Daniel, you know, a man who catches fly with chopsticks can accomplish anything. So I really wanted to sort of incorporate that into my Letterman jacket, where you could actually put, you know, if you have a Letterman jacket for yourself, you know that you could put your name on the back of it, get like a quote, a little quote or something sometimes. So I wanted to kind of incorporate that into my Letterman jacket, because with the Karate Kid being one of my favorite movies and having a little similarity to the Karate Kid movie in itself, to where I did have to go to a new town, a new school during my senior year, and basically just accomplish what I need to do during that whole school year and get to where I need to go. So there was one day where I saw that there was a chance to meet William Zabka. This is back in 2017, where there was a chance. He was at a Comic-Con, and I had a chance to go to the Comic-Con and meet William Zabka. So I had that chance to go meet him. It was awesome. It was an exciting moment to be able to meet Johnny Lawrence himself from the Karate Kid movie, and, you know, be able to take a picture with him, talk to him for a second, tell him the influence that the Karate Kid movie had on me and all that. And a couple years later, after that, I was able to meet Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso himself, at another different Comic-Con, and be able to take a picture with him, talk to him for a second, and it was just, you know, tell him how much the Karate Kid means to me, and, you know, tell him about Cobra Kai, how they've been doing a great job so far with that series also. And it was just an exciting moment. And, you know, to also, like, if y'all don't know, I'm a Funko Pop collector, so I was able to get my Funko Pop signed by them whenever I did meet them. So, you know, Daniel LaRusso signed right here, got the William Zabka signed right here. So, you know, just an awesome time to be able to meet those two, and because, you know, they've had such an impact on my life, such a heavy influence on my life, and with them being, you know, the stars of one of my favorite movies of all time, it was just an awesome and exciting experience to be able to have that experience, and experience that, you know, going to see them, take a picture with them, talk to them for a second, all that. It was just an amazing experience for that. And, you know, I do like collecting stuff. Like, if y'all don't know, I do collect some stuff. So, like, I do have the full set of the Funko Pops for the Karate Kid movie. Of course, I have the Mr. Miyagi Pop right here too also. But I also have these statues right here that I got from GameStop. We have Daniel LaRusso here, Johnny Lawrence right here. And with these statues and the Pops themselves also, I actually have those on my TV stand. Those are actually front and center on my TV stand, with it being like one of my favorite movies, as I said. Karate Kid, one of my favorite movies of all time. I like to have them on my TV stand, being able to represent that and show that off whenever I just have them on the shelf, which is awesome, you know? So when it comes down to it, the Karate Kid means a lot to me. It's had an impact and an influence on my life overall, and I just love this movie so much, and it remains to this day still one of my favorite movies of all time. Just hard to believe that it's turning 40 years old. I wonder I wonder, like, I wonder sometimes what it would have been like to have experienced that when, you know, going to the theater for the very first time whenever it came out back in 1984, being able to have that experience to check it out in theaters. You know, my mom tells me about it because she was a teenager during that time when it came out. She remembers going to the theater for the first time, being able to watch that movie in theaters for the first time, and she absolutely loved it. And you know, many years later when I was a young kid and, you know, she showed it to me, introduced the movie to me, and I absolutely fell in love with this movie. It still remains one of my favorite movies to this day. It's had such an impact and influence on my life overall, and I just love this movie overall. I just love this movie. Like, you know, I don't get tired of watching it. I usually watch it ever so often, and I just love this movie overall. It just means a lot to me. And, you know, it's probably going to remain one of my favorite movies of all time still. So, it's had a lot to deal with my life, a lot of impact and a lot of influence on my life. So I love this movie, can't get enough of it, and just gotta say I love this movie. But let me know down in the comments below, has The Karate Kid made an impact on your life? Does it have any influence on it? Do you love the movie? Is it one of your favorites? What are some of your favorite scenes or favorite things from The Karate Kid movie? Definitely let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But that's going to do it all for this video. Hopefully y'all all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know I post another video. Hope y'all have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.